everyone, my name is Aadya Kanchan. I am joining you 2,000 kilometers south of Gurgaon, all the way from Bangalore, and it's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to listen to all the speakers here. I'm here to share a small journey of mine, so sit back, relax, and enjoy your time. I want you all to imagine that you're in the year 2040. You're sitting with your grandchild, and they ask you a question that may seem like science fiction to us today. They ask, "Grandparent, is it true that back in 2026, you washed your car with fresh water?" And then you would have to explain to them that we lived in an era where we treated our most precious and finite resource as if it were infinite, simply because it was convenient and we were ignorant. If I had to describe the source of life on our planet in just 2 syllables, I would say water. It shaped our climate, it sculpted our land, it made life possible. Yet look how we treat it today. We waste it as if it's infinite. We pollute it as if it's disposable. We manage it as if consequences don't exist. In fact, we view water like the air we breathe. Invisible, infinite, and cheap. We all live in smart homes where we can dim the lights with our voices. We can check the heart rates on our wrists. Yet we still don't know how many liters of blood our household wastes every single day. How many liters of water our household wastes every single day. And every time we turn on the tap and expect water to flow endlessly, we participate in one of the most dangerous illusions of today's time. The illusion of abundance. I grew up in an urban apartment, just like many of you, during the infamous water crisis of Bangalore in the summer of 2023. And I faced reality. I turned on the tap, and nothing came out. That moment changed my relationship with water forever. What felt like a right suddenly became a privilege. Tankers became routine. Rationing became normal. And scarcity stopped becoming a headline. It became so personal. You know, there were so many discussions during that time. Let's do rainwater harvesting. Let's do percolation pits. But by the end, guess what? Nothing changed. I want you all to understand and realize that the real tragedy of the water crisis isn't that water is scarce, is that our relationship with it is broken. So today, I don't want to just preach you on another conversation of how to save water or big ideas of water conservation. Instead, I invite each one of you on a short journey, a journey to rethink our relationship with water through time. Are you ready? Yes. Let's go. If I had to describe this relationship, it certainly wouldn't be a straight line. It would be a curve. To be precise, a downward-facing parabola. At the beginning, water was a creator, from the smallest microorganisms to entire civilizations. Where there was water, there was life. Then water became a preserver. We learned to store it, harness it, channel it. We built wells, tanks, canals, drainage systems. Water sustained agriculture, powered trade, held cities together. This was the peak of the curve, where we believed that we had mastered water as we thrived at its expense. But water has always reminded us of one truth. What creates can also destroy. The Indus Valley civilization was built on rivers, sustained on advanced water systems, but ultimately, in the end, destroyed by floods and mismanagement. Water did not change. Our relationship with it did. So where are we today? Today, we're at the peak of that curve, the tipping point, a point where every action matters. Because one wrong step and we don't descend, we plummet. India has thousands of rivers and lakes, yet 45% of its population lives in water deficit. Globally, 4 billion people, that's 2/3 of the world population, experiences water scarcity for at least a month a year. I always asked myself, if we have so many solutions, why is implementation so hard? Why can't water conservation be simple as a daily habit and not as a crisis response? And those questions became a spark. I started studying households, studying consumption patterns, and I discovered something simple but unsettling at the same time. 40% of household waste, or household water scarcity, comes not from lack of water supply, but simple misuse, leaks, unconscious habits. And this gap disturbed me more than the crisis itself and led to the birth of Neeri. Neeri, derived from the Kannada word for water, Neeru, is all about a small device built on a big idea, that conservation should be easy, not exhausting. It works at an individual level, changing everyday habits. And at its core, it's not about rationing or control. It's all about instigating behavioral change to make water visible. But something more important evolved out of this journey. I realized that technology was not the hero. You are. As I tested this device in my school lunch hall, hospital canteens, and residential complexes, consumption significantly dropped. Not because people were forced to conserve, or it was just because of the device. It's because people finally became aware. And as Neeri spread to over 100,000 people through the Water Warrior campaign and various platforms, its philosophy became even more clear. Technology was only the catalyst. The real reason why this idea worked was because of individual action. One step repeated every day. Because change does not begin with grand gestures. It begins with consistency. And that's how movements begin. Now, whenever I say this, someone always asks me, Aadya, does one person really make a difference? Come on. I also felt just like a drop in the ocean, too small to move the massive tide of a global water crisis. But if there's one thing that science teaches us, is that every massive wave starts with a single displacement of energy. So here's my ask today. Take the 10% shift. Save 10 liters of water a day, just 10 liters. That's less than a bucket. And you can use any method, technology, reuse your RO reject water, or simply be mindful. Just 10 liters. Because even if 10 societies do it across any city in the world do this in a day, you will save 1.5 lakh liters every single day. That is the power of individual action. So are you ready for this shift? Are you ready to take this action, this 10%? So when you go home today and change your habits, I want you to remember that you're not just conserving water here. You're making a ripple. You're reminding everyone around you that you value your planet more than your conveniences. Because water conservation does not need to be done by a few people perfectly. We need millions doing it imperfectly, but doing it now and every single day. And as they say in India, very famously, boon boon se hi sagar banta hai. Thank you very much.